Hi, I'm Beth Nadell, and I'd like to welcome everybody to the inaugural Gala of Jewish Family and Children's Services of Northern New Jersey. As I hope you noticed through our myriad of pictures and memorabilia here tonight, we are honoring the history of the two Jewish Family Service agencies one last time as we join together as a single organization. We have built a strong foundation through our respective histories, but we are surely stronger together, and the future before us is bright. It has been my privilege to serve, along with Suzette Diamond and Sue-Ann Levin, as co-chair for tonight's event. With over 300 guests in attendance tonight, it is gratifying to see representation throughout the community. To each of you for whom tonight is your first experience with JFCS, I hope that our program will impress upon you the incredible work done by our professional staff on a daily basis. I would like to take a moment to thank our committee for their efforts in reaching out to new sponsors, donors, and friends. It is a thankless effort, but I truly thank you from the bottom of my heart. Tonight, everyone will get an electronic copy of the journal and our video on a data card in your gift as you leave tonight. Again, I'd like to thank you so much for being here. And now I'd like to introduce Rabbi Rendell Mark of Congregation Shomrei Torah of Wayne, who will honor us with an invocation.
It's truly an honor for me to be here tonight. Today was my mother's yortzeit, and she was a board member of JFCS in Minneapolis, where I grew up. It's an organization that has been part of our family life for generations. The work that is done is so important, and so we come together tonight to honor people who have served this institution. We recognize all of you who support it in act and in deed, and we recognize the staff who on a daily basis changes the lives of all the people that they touch. We're here tonight during the Torah portion of Parshat Vayeshev. Our ancestors teach us through the things they do and the things they say, and sometimes we look to emulate them, and sometimes we look at them and say, oi. And in Parshat Vayeshev, we see such dysfunction. Every part of this week's Parsha could be served well by the staff of JFCS. We have brothers who sell one of them into slavery. We have Judah and Tamar with a whole sexual bent to it. And then we end up with Joseph in the house of Potiphar and ending up in prison as an innocent person accused. We live in a society where so many things happen that are beyond our control. And what we do is we look for professionals who can help us to cope with all that life throws at us. And so we are thankful for an organization like JFCS to be able to help us get through the difficult times in our lives, to make those challenges more bearable, and to help us have the skills that we need to cope with all of the challenges that life gives us. Avinu Shebashamayim, Sovereign of the universe, bring your blessing upon all of us gathered here tonight so that we can continue to do God's work here on earth, making a difference in the life of all those people who need us. And let us say, Amen.
Good evening, and welcome to the inaugural Gala of Jewish Family and Children's Services of Northern New Jersey. I am Shira Feuerstein, President of the JFCS Board of Directors. What a privilege it is to represent this new organization, created through the blending of two long-standing agencies and now serving the needs of individuals and families in a catchment area spanning 345 square miles. As I look out into the ballroom, which is full, it's wonderful, I am blessed to see a multitude of people who share in our mission, who donate their time and money to serve those in need, and who have come to recognize our honorees, who embody dedication to the community, commitment to Jewish values, kindness to those in need, and generosity of spirit. Welcome tonight to Elaine Adler, Dana and Jim Adler, Alan Michelson, and our friends at Stop and Shop, James Kenoy, and the Stop and Shop executive team. I'd also like to welcome several people who are here tonight with us. Tracy Zuhr, Chairwoman of the Bergen County Board of Freeholders. Warren Geller, President of Englewood Hospital. Carol Silver Elliott from the Jewish Home family. We are also joined by several local clergy. Rabbi Randall Mark from Shomrei Torah in Wayne, Rabbi Zilikovich from Temple Beth Shalom of Fairlawn, Rabbi Yitzchak Lerman, Congregation Bethel of Rutherford, Rabbi Mordechai Shane of Chabad Lubavitch on the Palisades, Rabbi Moshe Grossbaum of Chabad of Paramus, Rabbi Pupko of Avad Torah in Englewood, Cantor Israel Singer of Temple Emmanuel of Closter. It's wonderful to host an event that brings together individuals across the spectrum of religious observance who share in common Jewish traditions and values of compassion, community outreach, and of Tikkun Olam. Joining us this evening are several notable members of our community. We welcome our partners from Jewish Federation of Northern New Jersey, CEO Jason Shamus, and President of the Board Stephanie Goldman. I'm so happy to say that with us tonight are over 15 members from the Federation Board, so from their Board of Directors. Federation is a true friend of JFCS, not only in terms of their financial support of our programs and operations, but also in working together to promote our mission to strengthen and preserve the well-being of individuals and families. With vision, they were the guiding force that brought our two agencies together, and they are the partner that will share in our success. According to a Harvard Business Review report, the failure rate for corporate mergers and acquisitions sits between 70 and 90%. I'm pleased to report that the blending of our two JFS agencies has really been a resounding success. As a nonprofit, our annual operating budget best represents what our agency has funded and in turn invested back into the community. We were able to more efficiently serve many more people than the prior two agencies did on their own. This year, that figure grew 28% as compared to the combined figures of the two separate agencies, 28% growth in just the first year. And why did we succeed? Well, it's really very simple. We have the best board of directors. We have the best honorary board. We have the best friends and partners in the community, and the absolute best, hardest working staff. I am fortunate to serve JFCS along with a talented group of individuals on our board of directors. I can't say enough about the level of professionalism, character, and hard work this group has displayed this year. It isn't easy to combine two well-developed cultures. I'd like to take a moment for the board of directors to please rise at this time to be recognized. Members of the board, you guys really are the best. And I'm happy to say we have 100% board participation. So those that couldn't be here obviously help support and help with the event, which is really great. Some might not realize this, but when a JFCS board member completes his or her term, we actually don't let them leave. Former board members become treasured members of our honorary board, ready and willing to lend a hand, give advice, and take pride in the amazing work that is done. I'd like our honorary board members in attendance to please rise at this moment to be recognized. Honorary board. I also want to take a moment to recognize another unique and esteemed group of people sitting in this room. Without the wisdom and leadership of all of the past presidents of both organizations, we would not be here tonight. I'd like to recognize all the past presidents of JFS North Jersey and JFS Bergen to rise and be thanked. Past presidents, there's a lot of you in the room. And a very special thank you to Beth Nadell, Suzette Diamond, and Sue Ann Levin. Ladies, please rise, the three of you. And the entire Gala committee for creating this event. Thank you to Ellen Finkelstein and Jamie Kerr. Ladies, thank you. Can rise? No, not rising, okay. They're the marketing development organizers who keep us on point and work so hard every day. I know the amount of time and energy that goes into an event such as this, and I appreciate the efforts of everyone involved. You all instinctively understood that the celebration of our history was the key to our future. Looking at the myriad of photos and memorabilia helps me to understand my own place in the history of our agency. So much has done before I ever walk through the JFCS doors, and I am confident that so much will be done once my term here is over. My greatest personal satisfaction at JFCS comes from when I think at night about some of the individuals that we help each and every day. You will see a video tonight about JFCS clients and their stories. Please know that every dollar you donate makes a difference. As we grow and as the needs in our community grow, I know we can count on your increased support. Finally, I would like to thank Susan Greenbaum, our Chief Executive Officer, and our amazing staff. Susan, keeping your eye on the future, you hold our ship steady through an ever-changing environment. You run the day-to-day operations of what is now one of the largest JFCS organizations in our state. The success we've had, we owe greatly to you. The over 7,000 lives touched by JFCS this year are better because each day you and your executive team guide our dedicated staff through the hard work that is difficult for most of us to even imagine. I'm blessed to have you as a partner and a friend. Please join me in welcoming to the podium Susan Greenbaum, CEO of Jewish Family and Children's Services of Northern New Jersey.
Thank you, Shira. In the words of Jimmy Fallon, yes, you've made it. You're here. This is it. Here it is. Every night, he excites his audience with some variation of these words, letting them know that if they are in that space, if they did everything involved in getting themselves into that theater seat on that night, they have indeed made it. Tonight, I say the same to all of you. By virtue of you listening to my voice, you have made it into the amazing family of Jewish Family and Children's Services of Northern New Jersey. As one of our cherished supporters and donors, friends, leaders, volunteers, and/or staff who understand and believe in JFCS, in our work, and in our belief that our Jewish community is one of caring and compassion. I thank you all from the bottom of my heart for making it here tonight on behalf of the more than 7,000 children and adults who need us and whose lives we will touch in some fundamental way this year. It is my honor to recognize and thank our dear honorees. Elaine, Dana, Jim, Alan, and the executive team of Stop and Shop. We are all indebted to all of you for your commitment, dedication, and generosity in the past in making tonight happen, and God willing, for many years to come. And Beth, Suzette, Sue-Ann, Ellen, and Jamie, I am forever in awe of all of you and your true magic. Thank you all for tonight. Thank you. This past year has been remarkable as we celebrate the history of two historic organizations and revel in the accomplishment of forming a new agency with greater scope, vision, and capacity. I want to formally express my gratitude to the JFCS Board of Directors and staff who have been tirelessly dedicated to endless big-picture processes and systems and to infinite details related to every aspect of our operations. We are so proud of what we've done this year. I'll admit we're a little tired, but most of us all feel extremely privileged and humbled by the change given to us to constantly pursue excellence in how we provide essential help to so many. With your permission, I'd like to spend a few minutes in the weeds, if you will, describing some of our work at JFCS and NJ today. We are a human services organization with 3 pillars of service. First and foremost, we are a mental health agency providing psychotherapy to individuals, couples, and families. A concerning trend that we are seeing is the presentation of more serious psychiatric diagnoses of both children and adults than ever before. This is in part due to the diminishment of funding in the form of federal block grants to other mental health facilities and daily threats to Medicaid. It is daunting to watch the increasing numbers of referrals of young children with serious anxiety and depression. Sadly, as well, this uptick in pathology is being seen all along the lifespan. For our youngest patients, we have play therapy rooms, and we have the unique ability to interface with their schools and camps to offer specialized counseling. At this moment, we are actively treating 365 people in our site. This is weekly, at least, 365 people in our psychotherapy practice in 3 sites. Of those, 134 are children. Of those, 74 are under the age of 12. That's today. The second pillar of service is our senior department, with services including but not limited to in-home assessments, senior care management, kosher meals on wheels, and friendly visitors. As many of you know, claims conference funding helps us to meet critical needs of Holocaust survivors who are aging and ailing. Our primary goal is most often to help seniors remain safe and independent in their homes. Today we have approximately 700 seniors who are active cases for us, who are receiving some type of service from JFCS. Of those, approximately 300 are Holocaust survivors. The third pillar of service represents all of the other programs and supports that we provide. It is in this area that we can be most innovative and truly respond to the trends and needs that we see and hear from the community every day. This is where problems like hunger, homelessness, unemployment or underemployment, divorce, financial stress, physical illness, and mental illness are talked about, thought about, and solutions are formed and actualized. We may be helping somebody over an isolated rough patch, or when trauma or even catastrophe strike, we could be working with an entire family system in several different JFCS departments over several months or years to help them first survive and to hopefully ultimately thrive. We provide help in the form of financial assistance when appropriate, and we provide advocacy when people interface with government agencies for entitlements and with other community programs and services. We offer vocational support and guidance in a warm and nurturing environment. And we offer a broad array of support groups currently, and we'll be forming new ones over time as clients and patients present with new and different needs. Our food pantry represents our passionate attempt to affect the growing problem of hunger in our community. Yes, hunger in our community. When an individual or a couple or a family is hungry, there are few places for them to turn. This is why the range of programs that exist in our community are all needed, and still, the need is not completely met. I recently learned that an individual who we are working with is receiving $13 per month in food stamps to supplement a very meager disability check, and this is his only income. This is a Jewish man, and this is in Bergen County, and he could be living next door to me or any one of you. A scary trend that we are seeing is that single mothers who have children with serious physical disabilities struggle bitterly because necessary personal care items are so costly that something like that can throw an entire family's budget off for an entire month. We help that family in our food pantry. Now, because we are identifying new needs in our Jewish community every day, a new initiative is also on our drawing board for 2018, and it is the creation of a new food pantry in our Fair Lawn offices, a second one. In our work, the area of greatest unmet need is emergency assistance. This is the part of our operation that's difficult to describe and most difficult to fund. These are the emergency calls that come daily requesting assistance for mortgage or rent, medical or dental services, medical equipment, utility bills, burial costs, etc., etc. These requests are coming from people who have nobody else to go to and nobody else to call. Each call is different, and each case is an individual or couple or family that is in deep trouble and truly need our help. We want you all to know that we welcome those calls. It is our priority at JFCS to effectively answer them. We, our leadership and staff, see ourselves as the face of that caring and compassionate Jewish community that I mentioned earlier. And it is our job to be most helpful, healing, encouraging, and supportive of those among us who are the most vulnerable. Everyone in this room knows or has known somebody in serious need of help. We at JFCS take enormous pride in the work that we do when we answer those calls. Our ongoing, consistent vision is to be the most robust, multi-dimensional social service agency that we can be, serving to the best of our ability and capacity anyone who calls upon us, so that we can be the most comprehensive possible safety net for our Jewish community. Among all of the changes that we've all experienced this year, there's been an interesting new trend that I've been observing on my own, and I've actually never seen it before. This year, we've received an unprecedented number of anonymous, very specifically designated gifts to the agency. Some have been checks, and some have been goods. What do I mean? I mean that one day we received an anonymous donation specifically to fund a gym membership for a specific teenage girl who comes to us for psychotherapy. Another random day, a piece of medical equipment miraculously or sort of mysteriously appeared in our food pantry with a client's name on it. A check request on another day appeared on my desk, and attached to it was a donation check specifying that the money be used to register a 10-year-old that is in our school-based program for his basketball team. New art supplies recently appeared in our play therapy room, and nobody knows where they came from. A few months ago, at one of our routine clinical roundtables, we all, as a team, and these roundtables are my favorite part of every week. I get 2 of them. I have one in Teaneck and one in Wayne each week. One day, my clinical staff figured out that there was a problem, and we figured out that children coming for therapy right from school were too hungry to truly engage. And within days, we began a snack pack program for those children in our waiting room who may not be food pantry clients, but who nonetheless are hungry. It happened within days because somehow the snack packs appeared with no receipts for reimbursement. Who could possibly have known that physical fitness was the treatment goal for that teenage girl who needs to battle the metabolic effects of the psychiatric medication she takes to maintain her mental health and stability? Who would have known that? Only her therapist, her clinician. Who would have known that our food pantry client broke his foot and needed a shower chair so he could bathe and his insurance wouldn't cover it? Only the social worker who last took him through the food pantry. Who would know that play therapy supplies were running low or that our clinical clients are hungry? Only the staff who work with our children. The conundrum for me is that these unprecedented, anonymous, designated donations are contributions made by our staff, my staff, and we're all grateful to them for this. I'm grateful for their devotion, for their dedication, for their drive, for their perseverance. While genuine and generous, these donations also scare me. They mean that the needs of our clients are deeper and broader than we have ever seen before. It means that our staff feel such a sense of need, sometimes even desperation, that they are reaching into their own pockets to try to change people's situations beyond what therapy alone can do. I share this with you so that you can all share with us both the awesome responsibility we all carry. We humbly and respectfully carry this responsibility. And I want to share with you the incredible pride and joy I hold as we recognize the incredible staff team I am blessed to work with. I look for ways every day to support them. I think you're all over the place. To recognize their fine work and to thank them. So now I'd like you all to thank them. Staff, please stand. Everybody on staff, interns, staff, thank you. So what more can we do? What more must we do? We need to talk to everyone we know. You're now all in the club. We need to think of JFCS clients as our family, our children, our teens, our seniors, our survivors, our families. Every time we think of JFCS, we need to think of JFCS lay leadership and JFCS staff trying to change the trajectory of people's lives every single day and ensure that our vision will be realized. I'd like to close with an ancient parable, if you will allow me. It happened one day that a distinguished and prominent man came to the Baal Shem Tov. For those of you who don't know, the Baal Shem Tov was the 17th century founder of Hasidic Judaism. Rebbe, he said, I have everything and I am so grateful. I have a wonderful family. I have our warm and faithful community. We have all the material pleasures we could ever want or need. I just have one wish, to really meet Eliyahu, Elijah the prophet. And for those of you who don't know, Elijah the prophet, what makes him unique is that he embodied everything that we all do. He was really a human being with flaws. But for whatever reason, God chose him to do acts of loving kindness throughout his life. This man said, every year on Passover, we have a great Seder, we do everything we've been instructed to do, and every year we open the door for Elijah, and he never shows up. How can this be? I feel cheated. The Rebbe considered his disciples' complaint and told him to load a wagon with food, wine, challahs, and also clothes and gifts for the children, and to travel to a certain hut in a nearby village and spend Shabbat with the destitute family that lived there. It was there that he would certainly meet Elijah. The man followed the Rebbe's instructions to the letter, and the next morning he arrived at the dilapidated hut in the nearby village. He was greeted warmly, the gifts were accepted with tears of gratitude, and that night the entire family, mother, father, 5 children, along with their surprise guests, celebrated Shabbat together. Shabbat ended and Elijah never appeared, and the man returned home bitterly disappointed. A few weeks later, he took the time to meet with the Rebbe again and told him what had happened, and more important, what had not happened. The Rebbe explained that Elijah must have been delayed or must have gotten caught up somewhere, but that he should not lose hope. The man would surely encounter him. So he must, on the next Shabbat, return to the hut, once again with a wagon filled with food and gifts, but this time before knocking on the door, he must first eavesdrop on the goings-on within the hut. The next Shabbat, the man did as he told, putting his ear to the door before knocking. He heard the mother's lament. We have no food for Shabbat, nothing. How can we honor God? How can we feel any joy? And he heard the father's reply, not to worry, don't you remember a few weeks ago, Elijah came with all that we needed and gifts for the children as well? Have faith, he will surely come once more. So ends the story. The moral, Rabbi Hillel taught, where there is no man, be thou a man. The Baal Shem Tov, through his story, taught, where there is no Elijah, be thou Elijah. Through acts of loving kindness together, we can accomplish great things. May we all go from strength to strength together. Thank you so much. Before we view our new agency video, I'd like to introduce Esther Schulman, who is the daughter of a JFCS client.
Cafe Europa was the highlight of the month for my parents. Cafe Europa is a beautiful gathering for the Holocaust survivors who receive services through this magnificent organization. My parents used to go together, and they wore their finest, and they even had car service. Really was quite amazing for death camp survivors to, in their later years, be treated with such dignity and such respect. And then my father passed in May of 2013. In 2014, my mom moved in with me, and she continued to go to Cafe Europa with her aide. And together, they wore their finest, and it really was magnificent. And for days afterwards, they spoke about the delicious meals. Sometimes it was deli sandwiches, but of course the best. And other times, delicious hot salmon meals, and Moshe Katzberg entertained. And that continued until last year when my mom couldn't go any longer. But JFCS. When it all started 8 years ago, for us it was JFS. When I first learned about this incredible organization, because I saw an ad in the Jewish Standard, and my parents were aging, and I figured let me go find out more, because there was a seminar taking place for caregivers of aging parents, and that's how this relationship started. And the visitors came, and a friendly visitor named Malka, and we didn't know Malka. Malka lived a half an hour away, and she had 4 young children, and she came and visited regularly, frequently. And then Mrs. Goldstein came, and that was really a very special treat for my mom. My mom called most people by their first name, except for the rabbis, of course, and the doctors. But in this organization, It was Mrs. Goldstein, the caseworker, Susan Goldstein, and my mom really loved Susan, and Susan even came to my mom's funeral 2 months ago. And we were so touched. My whole family was so touched. My daughter Zena's with me tonight, and I just feel so honored to have her with me. But the service continued for the full 8 years of whatever the organization could do to make life better for my parents. And it's all about relationships. It's beyond the actual services, but it's that feeling of warmth and comfort, and that's what this organization gives. And from a professional perspective, I certainly understand the importance of impact. You see how it impacted my family, and as donors, you need to see the impact. You need to make sure that your donations, your investment in an organization is going far and making a difference in people's lives. And I'm a professional in development fundraising for a different organization, and we deal with the challenges every day also. And we know how important the individual donors are, because 77% of all donations that organizations receive comes from individuals. The remaining 23% comes from government and corporations. So in this room, all the donors, we are the lifeline of this organization, and we need to continue giving to the best of our ability. And December is the month of giving. 30% of all donations received by organizations takes place in December. So how fitting that this event is taking place tonight in December. And I'm so honored to have this opportunity to represent my parents and express the gratitude that they always felt. And it's a lifelong impact. Thank you.
Michelle had struggled with schizophrenia for most of her adult life. She was not taking her medication as prescribed and disappeared for months at a time, often found living on the street. Her family was exhausted and didn't know where to turn until they found Jewish Family and Children's Services. Esther's grades had been dropping, and the teacher noticed a change in her demeanor. She's been acting out in school. A school counselor suggested her family contact JFCS. Deborah was out of work and taking care of her aging father, Frank. She was trying to obtain a job while managing his care. Neither she nor her father was making progress. She was at her wit's end when she was referred to the services of JFCS. After she became compliant with her medication plan, JFCS was able to help Michelle find low-income housing in a stable environment. She is now living independently, and her family is once again able to sleep at night, knowing that she's safe. Through a series of counseling sessions, it was revealed that Esther witnessed her mother being abused in her own home. Although her mother was hesitant at first to admit it was true, she also began treatment through Jewish Family and Children's Services. JFCS was able to assist Dina in leaving an abusive relationship. She needed financial support, including help from the JFCS food pantry in order to get back on her feet. Esther and her mom are recovering slowly. They are stronger, mentally and physically, through the help they received through the JFCS. JFCS sent a senior care manager to Deborah's home. She performed an in-home assessment and was able to establish a plan of action for Frank's continued care. Now, Frank receives a weekly delivery of kosher Meals on Wheels. A home health aide spends several hours a week providing care. Deborah was able to get back to work through career assistance provided by the JFCS Relaunch Program.
This year, Jewish Family and Children's Services provided 24,300 hours of counseling for individuals, couples, families, and groups. Calls for mental health services increased by 50% in the first 4 months of 2017.
The JFCS food pantry is on target to provide food to 2,896 people this year. Because of the tremendous need, We will be opening a second food pantry in another part of our catchment area in 2018.
More than 200 individuals have received coaching from JFCS's relaunched career services, providing career readiness, including resumes, cover letters, job search, and interview skills. We've guided more than 25% of our clients into new jobs.
JFCS volunteers made 2,730 friendly visits to check on homebound seniors this year. Our offices delivered over 70,000 kosher meals on wheels throughout Bergen and Passaic counties. We are proud to report that 97% of our seniors are able to remain independent and safe in their homes.
As I prepared for tonight, honored by the chance to introduce our first honorees and tell you about their incredible dedication and generosity, I started to think about why we give and encourage you to support JFCS this year and every year. Everyone in this room knows the challenges of taking care of an elderly parent. As is the case with so many seniors, health and longevity often exceed their finances. Thank God, Harry and I are blessed that we can assist his mother with her daily needs and that she can live the life she deserves with dignity and grace. But I often think about the number of seniors who don't have a child to help with expenses, who don't have someone to take them to doctor's appointments, who don't have someone to make sure that their refrigerator is full and that there is a place for them at the holiday meal. For all of those seniors, those parents, we are grateful that Jewish Family and Children's Services is their safety net. It is evident that the Adlers had the same model of loving chesed and generosity in their own homes. Elaine often speaks about her parents. In fact, I know that her father would have been 116 years old tonight. And it is clear that she and Mike demonstrated the same values to their children as we see from their dedication to communal life. Elaine and Mike Adler consider themselves fortunate to have achieved the success in life that allowed them to give back to the community. Ramapo College, Holy Name Hospital, the Jewish Home at Rockley are all stronger because of their support. When Mike suffered a stroke and became aphasic, the Adlers searched for adequate therapies. Unable to find the level of care they knew was needed, not only by Mike, but by so many individuals suffering with loss of speech due to stroke or brain injury, the family founded the Adler Aphasia Center in Maywood, New Jersey, now recognized as a national model of excellence in speech recovery. The center not only provides daily therapy for its clients, but becomes a second home. I was privileged to attend their theatrical performance and watch their incredible group of clients on stage, their confidence radiating throughout the room as they spoke their lines. As philanthropic powerhouses in their own right, Dana and Jim Adler exemplified the link between their self-understanding as a Jew and their civic activism. Dana and Jim both serve on numerous executive boards, donate money, use their contacts to help raise funds from others, and speak publicly about the virtues of JFCS. Dana and I met through Jewish Federation and bonded on a trip to Israel, where I quickly recognized how smart, dedicated, and passionate she was about the work Federation does. I learned about her son, who served as a lone soldier in the IDF. I learned about the annual half marathon she runs for Sharsheret, providing needed support to Jewish women with breast cancer. I learned about the incredible amount of time, and energy Dana puts into being part of every organization she supports, so that it's not just her dollars that are making a difference, but it is her heart and soul. Please join me as we listen to the Adlers speak about their involvement with Jewish Family and Children's Services.
My family and I have decided that it is our pleasure and our duty to help those not as fortunate as we. I believe that people should help people, especially if they're able to. And fortunately, Mike and I arrived at a point where we can give back, and we're grateful for that. I knew a gentleman who came upon hard times. He had lost his job, and it was very, very poorly timed for him. Fortunately for him, he went to Jewish Family Service. They helped him out at that point in time and then helped train him to have a different position. And so the family came together, and it was wonderful. And I thought, gee, what a great organization. What a fabulous service to mankind. And so from that time on, I have tried to help them. You know the word nachas? That's what you would get. Nachas, you would feel wonderful unto yourself to know that you have helped someone in need. And I do believe that if more people would look at it that way, that they gain from it, that they get the pleasure, that they would do more to become involved.
Jim and I became introduced to Jewish Family Services about 15 years ago when we got involved with Jewish Federation of Northern New Jersey. I became a Lion of Judah at that time, and I quickly found out where our money goes through Federation, and one of the most prominent ones and one of the most important agencies was Jewish Family Services. This agency can do things that really nobody else can. I remember when my son was in first grade, he had a little friend, and he wanted a play date with him down the road, and I brought him over to his friend's house, and I noticed very quickly that things were slightly awry in the house. There was a lot of snow on the ground. The pathways were not plowed out. The home was in disrepair, and the mom had some severe disabilities. She was deaf. It was hard for her to speak. And so I really wanted to connect her with Jewish Family Services, which I did. And they made a huge impact on her life. They helped her with her home, they helped get her services that she needed, and they helped her son with some counseling. And I was always so grateful that I could make that one call and have it happen. We hope that we're teaching our children that if you can give back, you should give back. And we feel that's part of the fabric of our family, and we're so proud and excited to be here tonight with you, and that you've come and shared this night with us.
Will Elaine, Dana, and Jim please join me on stage to receive their awards? Elaine, a powerhouse of philanthropy and kindness.
If I may, today is my father's 117th birthday, December 3rd, 00. And it was he who taught me how important it is to give back. So thank you, Daddy.
Dana and Jim Adler, pillars of support in word and deed.
Thank you.
We're so grateful that you are all here, and we are so honored to receive this award. We know how hard everybody's worked to make this an amazing agency, the strength of the community, and thank you so much for honoring us and having us here.
I just want to say it's fortunate that my daughters Caroline and Eliana are here, because they have two fantastic role models in my mother and my wife, and it's such that's why I'm speechless most of the time, because I'm in awe of them. And by the way, my name is Dana's husband. That's how it is.
Good evening. My name is Robin Michelson. This is my brother David, and we have the privilege of being Alan Michelson's children.
I love that gets a round of applause.
No, really, this is an awesome audience. On behalf of our family, congratulations to the Adlers and to Stop and Shop. You have all done so much for the community and for this agency, and we're delighted that Mom is in such distinguished company tonight. We proudly remember attending a JFC, I guess then it was JFS meeting, with our parents a few years ago to see Mom being installed on the board. I'm still not sure that Mom knew exactly what she was getting herself into that night. Confident she did not, but she knew that the agency does critical work in identifying and addressing the needs of those in our community. She was and is passionate about the services that it provides, and worked tirelessly to help the JFCS staff and volunteers succeed. Watching our mother's work has been an inspiration to David and me. We're particularly grateful to JFCS for honoring Mom because we know how much the agency and this honor means to her. So thank you to JFCS and to those who made tonight such a success. And congratulations, Mom.
10 years ago, my son David was away at college and my daughter was still in high school. And on several occasions, I was seated with Abe Davis at Federation dinners. Abe is a good storyteller, and he would tell me JFS stories, and I really enjoyed them. So along the way, he kept encouraging me to join the JFS board, and I said, well, when Robin goes to college, we'll talk about it. So Robin went to college, and Richard and I became empty nesters, and I joined the JFS board. Throughout my presidency, the merger was taking place, and in fact, it extended my presidency until January of this year, when the new agency went into effect. Because so much of what goes on in a social service agency is confidential, it's difficult to share the miracles that can happen each day with our clients. Over the last 10 years, I've been a Cafe Europa volunteer, and Cafe Europa is a monthly social program for Holocaust survivors that provides lunch and a program, but mostly socialization. The survivors are always seeking connections. It's amazing that they know people from before the war. They know people from 70 years ago, whether it was in the camps, whether it was in the DP camps afterwards, whether it was from the cities like Lodge. So they're with their old friends, they're making new friends, There has never been a more remarkable community. They are survivors in the true sense of the word. And it's my privilege to be able to spend time with them and to be a part of the joy that we bring to their lives. Being part of restoring someone's dignity and bringing some normalcy into people's lives, what better way to use my time than to contribute both financially and as a volunteer.
Mom, could you please come up? So it is my privilege to present to you
Oh my gosh.
Alan S. Michelson for your leadership, support, and friendship, past, present, and future, from the Jewish Family and Children's Services of Northern New Jersey.
Oh my, that's lovely. That's just beautiful. That is really good. Thank you so much. Oh my gosh. This is a very special evening. It represents the past. It represents 72 years of Jewish Family Service of North Jersey and my 10 wonderful years with that agency, and now are joining together and the bright and wonderful future, which can only happen from everything you heard tonight. Things are on a wonderful trajectory, and I can't think of any more wonderful way to have spent this evening than to have my wonderful family with me and our friends and Rabbi, but to have my kids with me. Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
So now we have to take a picture.
Okay.
Good evening. I'm Ellen Finkelstein, Director of Marketing at Jewish Family and Children's Services. When the Rabinowitz family opened their first grocery store in 1914, they were part of a neighborhood. Now, with over 400 Stop and Shop stores, they still consider themselves a good neighbor and do their best to assist when needed. Last year, with the help of their customers, associates, and vendors, they donated more than $31 million in cash and products to local communities, including ours. The relationship between Stop and Shop and Jewish Family Service began in 2013 when they became a generous sponsor of our Wheels for Meals Ride to Fight Hunger. Over the past 4 years, they have increased their support not only in providing financial sponsorship for the ride, but in direct support to clients with grocery cards and pantry donations. Early this year, Stop and Shop called us with an incredible offer. In March of 2017, they donated over 4,000 pounds of kosher for Passover food to our Teaneck location, allowing us to open the first strictly kosher for Passover food pantry in our community. It was a game changer for us and for our clients. When the time came to choose a corporate honoree for our gala that represented the best of corporate giving, it was a no-brainer for us. The Stop and Shop Family Foundation strives to help neighbors in need with a focus on 3 key initiatives: fighting hunger, improving the lives of children, and building healthy communities. We are proud to have their support, to have their friendship, and to honor them tonight.
Before each Jewish family begins the Passover Seder telling the story, they begin with the words, Kol dichvin yete v'yechol. Whoever is hungry, please come in and eat. Please come in and join us for the Passover Seder. And this year, Jewish families in Bergen County are so blessed to have help in that gesture. And we thank Stop and Shop and Jewish Family and Children's Services.
The food pantry is open to anybody with food insecurity. They are
welcome to come by appointment so that they can come and shop in our food pantry without anybody else around. Everything is kept in complete confidentiality. Our food pantry serves hundreds of people all year long, but around holiday time, there's enormous stress on families to prepare for the holidays, and food costs go way up. Enabling them to prepare special meals for their families is way more meaningful than just the food. It's really about enabling people to feel whole. Food insecurity in Bergen County, which is an inordinately wealthy county, is growing every day. Our neighbors and friends are hungry. We all know people who are hungry, even though we don't know they're hungry.
I'm here today because I am a recipient of the good things that come from the food pantry here at JFCS. I left a job to take care of an elderly parent, my mom, who was suffering with Alzheimer's disease, and I was taking care of her around the clock. Eventually, she did finally pass from the disease, but that left me financially strapped and jobless. They've helped me through a lot of hard times, and I've been able to either find things that I need in the food pantry, or it allows me to free up cash that I could use to find things that I need out in a supermarket or to pay another bill, any number of things, and it's been a very supportive experience.
Anybody who has this need or any other social service need or a need for mental health services should just call our number. The number is 201-837-9090. We are always here for our families in need, but Stop and Shop has just made it so much more joyful and has shared with us in the burden of feeding our families this year, and that's great.
We're joined here tonight by the executive team of Stop and Shop, and I'm going to ask James Kenoy to join me on stage to receive the award. Jim, this is to Stop and Shop Corporation with sincere appreciation for your unwavering support in feeding the hungry in our community. JFCS Gala 2017. Let's put it in the box for you.
Ellen, thank you so much for the honor. It's been a privilege working with you over the years, and I'm sure the relationship will continue to grow.
Thank you so much. And now to close out our evening before dessert, I'm going to ask Rabbi Zilikovich to join me on stage.
If my congregants will not applaud, who, right? Before I talk, I want to say something. And it's serious, it's really truth. This is a very special evening for us. When I say for us, I talk about the Michaelsons, myself. I don't know how much we can eat, but we came from another gala together. Today we celebrated 60 years of the life of our congregation, Temple Beth Shalom, in Fair Lawn, New Jersey. 60 years. Because we had to be here at this time, maybe we made it right at noon. Imagine I would start singing, Shalom Aleichem Malachei Yasha. What you will, you know the song? What you will say, Rabbi, come on, excuse me, maybe you got it wrong, maybe too much to drink at the bar, what? It's Sunday, when we sing that song on Shabbat. Why I bring that song? Because every Shabbat we sing Shalom Aleichem, which is, Shalom Aleichem means, Ebeinu Shalom Aleichem, right? We welcome you. Who are we welcome? We welcome the angels of what? Who knows? What are the angels for? Angels of? Well, that's the issue. That everybody talks about the angels of peace, but the first sentence of that song, of that poem, is not the angels of peace. It's Shalom Aleichem, Malachei Asharet, Malachei Elyon Mi'im Elechem. And then yes, all the other three, Shalom Aleichem, Malachei Ashalom, right, are the angels of peace. Which is interesting is that the first angels are the angels of service. Sounds familiar? The angels of service. Why? Because without service, without sharet, is not shalom. There cannot be peace in the world if we don't know how to share with others, how to help the needy. The Jewish, well, my poor congregation, they had a rabbi that for the last 7 and something years, they were grudging them. Hebrew is not a language. Hebrew is a code for life. And it's amazing if you think for a moment, when God created human beings, what was the distinguished thing that really distinguished humans from animals? And it was that he breathed his breath of life into the nostrils of men. Now you try to imagine that. Why the Torah will bring such a figure to breathe? What is that? Because there is a huge teaching in the Torah, and it is that you should live your life the same way you breathe. And the word neshuma, neshume, and when you talk about somebody that is a good person, is a good neshume. No, you never hear that from your Bobe? Is a good neshume, right? Why? What makes that person a good neshume? A good breather? You know how to breathe? With yoga, what? No. He knows how to live the same way you breathe. How you breathe. You take the air. Now don't give it back. Don't give it. You keep it. You don't give back because you only know how to take, but you never learn how to give back. What will happen? You will die. I don't want to talk about how many corpses are walking on the streets lately, right? But you need to give back, because giving back is the only way for you to have the capacity to take again, just only to share it again. So when I think about the angels of service, and when I think about the neshume, what makes you, angels of service, is your good neshume. The good neshume that you have when you give, when you support, when you give not just only money, but the most precious thing that you really have, which is your time for other peoples to get what they need. So, therefore I will say, Adonai el Aruchot, God from every flesh and from every spirit, we ask you that you continue to install in us that breath of life, for us to live the way you want us to live, just not only to be takers, but to be givers, that we will become your partners in recreating your world in the best way every day. Help us and give us the strength to continue in this endeavor, in this beautiful endeavor with this JFCS. It's okay? JFCS. I am from Argentina, people, you need to remember. Let God continue to listen to us, that these beautiful Jewish family and children services, that you will allow us to continue to do this beautiful work. And when anybody will ask us, do you believe in angels? I will say, no, I don't believe. I am certain. It's not belief, it's not a matter of faith. Because when I look at this institution and the people that contribute, the people that give and the people that work, I know that the angels of service that I sing every Shabbos about them, they are every day working to help somebody else created by you. May God continue to give us the wisdom, the courage, and the opportunity to make from this institution, this society, and this world, the best we can every day. Amen.
Will everyone please join us for dessert?